Roger Waters seems to think that Pennsylvanians who make things up to cover for things they did need to be told that there was something suspicious about the deaths of JFK Jr., which, by the way, Prabanic went to watch after following me to Illinois to Mount Desert Island. Preben Bush. No, Prabanic of Pittsburgh went to watch, and John Hines and Princess Diana. He seems to think that Pennsylvanians need to be told that that's suspicious. And since they need to be told that that's suspicious, someone must have told them it was suspicious. And he says, aha. Now, Mackenzie Shirilla was a princess of the Ohio public school system. The public school system in Western Pennsylvania and tri-state area that my father championed. He went to his death as a victim of Donahue's contraption and the Green Party as a school bus driver. So bombing school buses is nothing new. Mackenzie Shirilla was a victim of the same neurohypnotic nerve agent that the Federal Bureau of Investigation has allowed Cyril Wecht to concoct so that he can write little storybook forest ideas about what he calls serial predators, which means deaf boys who girls pass around as a sex toy. And he calls them the walrus in his, Solzhenitsyn visage as he scriveners for Tive at the deathbed of Ryland about the nuisance son. And although the rabbi denieth, John Lennon was in on the whole thing. It was this big prank Boys Houdini, where you double fantasied, right? And now they say, no, tisk, 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 he's dead, and you're Jimmy Crazy, baby. Oh, right. Survey, Widemaker, and Waters conspired with Weck to put a nerve to force feed when I was in hostage trauma. From slaughtering blows to the head and deafness and torment and terror. They gave me a nerve agent, the memos of which are clear that I believed my mind had rescued me. The same thing happened to Shirilla. Now, this is going to be thought of dismissively not because it's crank. It's obviously very clear that something has been going on in the matrix. East Palestine, Ohio was wasted before the Palestinian invasion of the terrorist army of Israel in America, Joe Biden's Pol Pot regime. Then they let off a vinyl solution, which is like final solution in East Palestine, Ohio. So it's clear that and Mackenzie is like Father Mackenzie wiping his hands of the dirt as he walks from the grave. No one was saved. See, the Beatles think the whole world is their song and dance, and they're prying into this, macabre mindset put together by Tamo John. But they'll think of it as dismissive because they can get away with thinking of it as dismissive. The man who misrepresented, he did a horrible job, would have ended up the enemy of the people in Strongville, Ohio, because of how strongly the victim's family felt about Mackenzie. The hysterical way that Samu feels about my letter to Leslie. Now, admittedly, these two fellows died. Nobody was even bruised in what happened to me. But they had a girl named Mac at the thieving center of Gretchen Hawkins downtown, the support group for John Schulman in Seattle, preluding Mackenzie Shirilla's appearance on TikTok as an obviously completely innocent victim of a car bomb. So my heart goes out to the victims. They're the ones I want to persuade. but it'll be thought of dismissively in exactly the same way that my testimony to the postal authority was regarded dismissively, and there's rumors starting about better people than me. When I reported John Schulman, well, he was finally arrested. I was driven into homelessness for 2 years. Oh, clap, clap for Robert Fripp's Gurdjieff Society. They tear gassed me. My eyes rolled out onto my cheeks. The Shady Side Hospital had me come in with my eyeballs on my cheeks. Clap, clap that they drove me into homelessness, and Barack Obama got the symbol of life for Zuma of the NDC. They got Zuma's revenge on the queer bait. I mean, at Mandela Books on Craig Street by Schulman. They said it was dismissed, but he was arrested on a $6 million museum heist. So they shouldn't think of this dismissively. Peter Balakian, a Pulitzer Prize winner, was a teacher of Schulman, Leslie Katz, and me. Schulman and Katz put together the school poetry group called Jabberwocky. His partner was at Ella's school where she was valedictorian. They were partners, but they were Jewish, so they always get the benefit of the doubt. Well, I found a book there called Shaviti. Shaviti is what's known as a visual rhyme for Shirilla. She was given it's a book about using LSD to induce a Holocaust-type trauma. Kazatnik wrote it. He was a Holocaust survivor who experimented with LSD. Profound. So she was not only in a trauma, she was not only 17 years old. And her testimony about the incident shows that she believed her mind was rescuing her, just as the one notes that I wrote at age 14 showed, not in the letters about what they gave to me, illustrate that someone named Jill and Wadmaker was involved. He went into neurobehavioral research. Mackenzie is a neurohypnotist, where Wadmaker is an Attica State Prison psychiatrist. When I tried to get help from these people, Wesley Posvar of Reagan's Federal Emergency Management Agency sent in Ohio State troopers, James W. Child of Hancock. Why? Because it was the Ohio correction system working with the Attica State Prison system and Pennsylvania Pittsburgh police on the AIDS attack. That's why they did it. They tried to say a personality change took place in the queer world that justified Mount Desert Island. And they gave me a book called Love's Hypnotist, okay, because she became jealous of these boys. And she was under neurohypnosis. She was saying things. And it's clear that neurohypnosis and Mackenzie, who's in brain research, his son was the source of LSD in the high school. So was a man named Miles Kirshner. I was never anything but a victim of these pushers. And Mackenzie was given a nerve agent that was used to justify the genocide of the AIDS attack, because she becomes a parable of a parable of a parable. Leslie Katz said, a metaphor is a metaphor for a metaphor. This is how their minds operate. It's a linkage game of Tamo de Jong and Yoko Ono, fluxus and archetypes. So this becomes that. This is the walrus connector system. She was victimized. The people who were victimized with her have a right to the full explanation of what happened, not some vindictive storyline that made her out to be some sort of scampy tart who these guys were tired of playing with, who got even on them because she was emotionally unstable. That's not what really happened. She was car bombed. She's a completely innocent victim. She no more hurt those men intentionally than I would have ever misspoken deliberately in such a way as to give Roger Waters and Yoko Ono their fascist pretext for an AIDS entrapment war game and two virgins' pussy ball clocked to the AIDS attack. It's the same story, and she's the victim of the same exact people. She was trademarked with the name Mackenzie. No one was saved. East Palestine's final solution. Biden is fucking Pol Pot.